Hi everyone. So firstly, I'd just like to say thank you very much for helping me get 100 subscribers. That's awesome, and my 100 subscriber special video that I made will actually be coming out a little bit later because I did have this one scheduled for today, so it will be the next one to come out. So I'm going to get straight into it. Starting at number 29, we've got Trueform Adam Warlock. Now, Trueform Adam Warlock is an insanely powerful character, obviously. Regular Adam Warlock is about level of Thanos level power. However, Adam Warlock in his true form that we see at the end of Jim Starlin's Infinity Saga is Adam Warlock with basically the power of a whole universe. He is that strong. He has the power of an entire universe because him and Thanos had to destroy a universe, and then all the energy of that universe went into Adam Warlock, and he became wildly powerful. He was easily able to beat several of Marvel's most strongest characters. However, he didn't actually realise the true scope of his power, which led to him being deceived by Mephisto a little bit later. So, coming in at number 28, we've got Nemesis. Nemesis is, very simply put, the universe and the Infinity Stones, but sentient, which is insanely cool. It's basically the power of a whole universe, however, it's sentient. It's a little bit like Eternity, but it's also got the power of the Infinity Stones, which is pretty cool because Eternity is actually able to be defeated by the Infinity Gauntlet, at least in most comics they are. Now, Nemesis, what makes him different is that there's many different creation stories in Marvel. Now, the one of Nemesis is where the Nemesis was the first original being, and they were completely omnipotent but also completely alone, and then they exploded into the universe, and then all the little bits of their soul became the Infinity Stones, and there's actually a seventh Infinity Stone, which is their true soul, and if you bring it all together, then Nemesis will return, which is pretty interesting. So that's Nemesis. Coming in at number 27 is Seesneg. You may be very unfamiliar with who Seesneg is, but you might know him a bit better if I tell you a name that he's more commonly known by, and that's Agamotto. And Agamotto was a guy who learnt all the magic in the universe, and then all the magic in the multiverse, and then time travelled back to the origin of the universe to become the fifth iteration of Eternity, which is pretty awesome. And so Seesneg, how are they known as Agamotto? Because when they wrote down all the things they learned about time travel and left artifacts such as the Eye of Agamotto and the Orb of Agamotto for others to be able to follow in their footsteps, and they were really, I would say, probably the second strongest sorcerer ever, and the first strongest sorcerer, we'll find out about them a little bit later. So coming in at number 26 is the First Firmament. So you know how I said that Seesneg became the multiverse, became an iteration of the multiverse? Well, the First Firmament was the first iteration of the multiverse. Pretty simple. And they are the strongest out of all the iterations of the multiverse, but what their downfall came because they weren't as strong as all of the other multiverses put together in power. They were stronger than each and every one of them, but they weren't as strong as all of them put together, which is how they were eventually defeated. The First Firmament could easily beat Eternity and other characters, however, it took all of them, and then they were eventually defeated, although it's speculated they could rise to power again, but they were basically imprisoned. So, coming in now at number 25 is Protege. Protege is an interesting one. Protege's powers are copying things, but it's no upper limit to how much they can copy, which is wildly strong. So if you put them against a villain, like, not even a villain, if you put them against a guy like Captain America, they could copy Captain America's powers. Now, you might say, yeah, that sounds okay, but then you put them against a being like Dormammu, and they copy all of Dormammu's powers. You put them against Mephisto, and they copy his powers. You put them against the Living Tribunal, and then they copied the Living Tribunal's powers. That's how strong they could get. It's even speculated they could have copied the powers of the One Above All, which is super duper wildly powerful, as obviously it's like it is with all of these things. So this actually leads me into number 24, which is Skaven and Arishem. These guys are two Celestials. You may be thinking, why are they even up this high? Celestials aren't that strong. Now, Protege was able to ineffectively defeat the Living Tribunal, and characters more powerful than the Living Tribunal didn't even want to step in, because then Protege would just copy their powers and there's no real point doing it. So Skaven and Arishem somehow managed to defeat Protege. I mean, Skaven the Approver said Skaven the Approver does not approve, and then Arishem judged them, and then he put this like special bubble around Protege's head and defeated them, which makes not really much sense. I can wholeheartedly say that Protege is stronger than Skaven and Arishem, but Skaven and Arishem defeated them. So that's why they're going up higher on this list. So coming in at number 23 is the Black Winter. The Black Winter is super cool. I think they featured in Donny Cates' Thor the Devourer King, which was an awesome story. I highly recommend you go read it. The easiest way for me to describe the Black Winter is they're like Galactus, but you know how Galactus devours planets? The Black Winter devours universes, and that's how strong they are. They literally take in whole universes for power, and they were actually the being of whom Galactus was the herald. Galactus was the herald of the Black Winter, and then Galactus, because Galactus at his full proper strength, well-fed Galactus, can not take on eternity, but is of similar levels of power to eternity, and the Black Winter easily beat this highly fed version of Galactus. Basically, the strongest version of Galactus we've ever seen, apart from maybe Lifebringer Galactus. So, coming in at number 22 is the Marquis of Death. The Marquis of Death is a multiversal reality warper. They are definitively Marvel's most powerful mutant. And, well, this is to date, of course. I mean, there are wildly powerful mutants out there. There's M-Day Scarlet Witch was insanely powerful. There are beings like Matthew Malloy, and there's Shepard, and beings like that. But the Marquis of Death is definitively the most powerful. The Marquis of Death was originally someone who actually came from our world, I believe, like from the literal human world. Obviously not really, but in the comics that's how it works. They're in the literal human world, and it's a place where there's no superheroes, and they had these reality warping powers, but they told people about it, and then they got sent to an asylum because they thought they were crazy and they have to contain them. But then they used their powers and they brought back like the Red Skull, and then Galactus showed up and tried to consume the Earth. And eventually they were taken into the main Marvel universe, where Reed Richards helped them and designed a machine so that they couldn't hurt anyone anymore, and that all they'd experienced was these like really pleasant dreams. However, a bunch of villains actually came in and broke him out of this machine, and then the Marquis of Death came out of this machine, and then he became the Marquis of Death and just had full 100% control of his powers and just waved his hand, and everybody there was dead. I mean, the Molecule Man was dead. This guy killed the Molecule Man. Granted, he may not have been the one that we all know. It may have been a different one, but he killed a Molecule Man, which is a tiny, a massive, massive feat. He literally put his hand up in the sky and then caused all the stars in the universe to go into a supernova and in fact destroy the universe, which is super duper cool. When he fought the Fantastic Four, he made Johnny Storm witness every single time he killed all of the Fantastic Four throughout all these universes, and he just hopped from universe to universe, destroying all of them. And they were completely nuts, and they ended up fighting like their past self, and their past self summoned like Galactus and Eternity to fight them, and then the Marquis of Death literally just created and summoned these characters more powerful than Galactus and Eternity. It's just wild how powerful they are. So that is why the Marquis of Death is Marvel's most powerful mutant. You could argue that possibly M-Day Scarlet Witch could be. However, what I'm going to say to this is that M-Day Scarlet Witch wiped out 95% of all mutants, and that was what they did. That was like their main feat that they managed to do. However, the Marquis of Death, if they wanted to, could do this. The Marquis of Death just went around destroying universes. I wouldn't be too sure whether Scarlet Witch, M-Day Scarlet Witch would be actually a credible threat to the whole of the multiverse, whether they could actually destroy the whole of the multiverse, but the Marquis of Death could do it. The Marquis of Death could 100% do it. I mean, unless the Living Tribunal stepped in, and then I'm not even sure if they're even... Because the Marquis of Death is literally on a similar level of power to the Living Tribunal. That is how strong they are. M-Day Scarlet Witch will be completely obliterated by the power of the Living Tribunal, but the Marquis of Death is one of those characters that are just so strong that it's possible they could even be stronger than the Living Tribunal. Now, coming in at number 21, we have got Post-Retcon Beyonder. Now, Pre-Retcon Beyonder is one of the most insanely, stupidly overpowered characters ever. He showed up in the main Marvel Universe with no explanation, and he saw someone die, and he said he didn't like it, and then he looked away, and then he came back, he's like, yeah, okay, I just went and I killed Death, so no one's gonna die anymore. And then he pitted all of us superheroes together because he was interested. No, and then he got nerfed. So he's a multiversal reality warper. Even when he's got nerfed, he was literally just messing around, doing whatever he wanted. But the Beyonder is actually a child unit of a group called the Beyonders, and just the Beyonder, even post retcon, could handily beat all the Avengers. Easy, absolutely easy. Could handily beat Eternity. Definitely, 100%, easy peasy, could destroy a universe if they wanted to. Now, this brings me into number 20, who is the Molecule Man. Post-retcon, obviously. Now, pre-retcon, the Molecule Man was just as strong as the Beyonder pre-retcon, so that's kind of how it works. But I'm going post-retcon here, which is afterwards. Pre-retcon Beyonder and pre-retcon Molecule Man will show up a little bit later because they're even higher up on this list. So number 20, like I said, is the Molecule Man. He has got pretty much the same powers as the Beyonder. However, there's one big difference here, and the Molecule Man was placed in every universe by the Beyonders, and the Molecule Man is so strong that what happens is if you kill a Molecule Man in one universe, then the whole universe dies. That is how strong he is. He lets off so much power when you kill him, you destroy the whole universe. That is how some stuff like the Incursion started. Like, a guy killed the Molecule Man. I'm not going to ruin it, but someone killed the Molecule Man, and then that caused all this horrible, massive incursions. It's the Beyonders' grand plan. They put a Molecule Man in every universe, and they blowed up all the Molecule Men. They could destroy the whole multiverse. They did. And they did destroy the whole multiverse. That's how strong these guys are. So, that is number 20. Stay tuned for my next video. My 100 subscriber special one, which is another Marvel edit, should be coming out in the next couple of days. I like to space the videos out, maybe 2 or 3 days in between each one. So yeah, that's about it from me, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.